outskirts of a small, forgotten town, there stood an old, decaying mansion. The townsfolk whispered of strange happenings, but no one dared to go near except for Alex, a curious teenager with a love for the paranormal. One chilly autumn night, Alex decided to explore the mansion, armed with nothing but a flashlight and his nerves. As he stepped inside, the air grew colder, and the door creaked shut behind him, sealing him in darkness. His flashlight flickered, casting eerie shadows on the peeling wallpaper. In the distance, Alex heard a faint whisper, barely audible but unmistakable. "Leave now," it seemed to say. But his curiosity got the better of him. He followed the sound, leading him deeper into the mansion's heart. The walls felt alive, pulsing as if they were breathing. He reached a grand staircase, its steps covered in a thick layer of dust. As he climbed, the whispers grew louder, more urgent. "Go back," they pleaded. But Alex pressed on, drawn by a force he couldn't explain. At the top of the stairs, he found a room with a single, ancient mirror. The glass was fogged, but he could just make out his reflection, or so he thought. As he moved closer, the figure in the mirror didn't mimic his movements. Instead, it smiled, a wicked, knowing grin. The whispers stopped, replaced by a deafening silence. Alex's heart pounded as he realized the reflection wasn't his own. It was something else, something that had been waiting, trapped in the mirror for centuries. Before he could react, the figure reached out, its hand breaking through the glass with a shattering crash. Alex screamed, but no one heard. The mansion stood silent once more, and the mirror repaired itself, leaving no trace of what had happened. The next morning, the townsfolk noticed the mansion's front door ajar, but no one dared enter. They just shook their heads and muttered, "Another lost soul." And from that day on, if you peer into the mansion's windows at dusk, you might see a shadowy figure, eternally trapped behind the glass, screaming for help that will never come. A month after Alex's disappearance, rumors spread through the town about strange lights flickering in the mansion's windows at night. Some claimed to hear faint cries for help, but most dismissed it as the wind howling through the broken shutters. Only one person knew the truth, though she would never admit it. Her name was Emily, Alex's younger sister. Unlike the rest of the town, she couldn't let go of the feeling that Alex was still somewhere within those cursed walls, driven by the bond they shared. Emily decided to find her brother. On the night of the first frost, she approached the mansion, gripping the locket Alex had given her on her last birthday. The old mansion loomed above her, its windows like empty, soulless eyes. Steeling herself, she pushed open the creaking door, stepping into the same darkness that had swallowed Alex. Emily's flashlight pierced the gloom, revealing the decaying interior. The air was thick with the scent of mold and something else, something metallic and sharp, like blood. As she moved deeper into the mansion, the floorboards groaned underfoot, as if warning her to turn back. But Emily was determined. She climbed the grand staircase, the whispers starting to echo around her just as they had for Alex. But this time, they weren't warnings. They were different, chanting in a language Emily couldn't understand, yet somehow knew was ancient and evil. When she reached the top, she found the same room, the ancient mirror gleaming with an unnatural light. Her heart raced as she approached, and she could see her reflection, except, just like Alex, it wasn't really hers. This time, the figure in the mirror looked exactly like her brother. His eyes were wide with fear, his mouth moving soundlessly as he tried to speak. Emily reached out, her hand trembling, and the surface of the mirror rippled like water. Without thinking, she pressed her hand against the glass, and the world around her shifted. Suddenly, she was inside the mirror, staring out at the room from within its cold, glassy prison. She turned to find Alex beside her, pale and ghostly, his voice finally reaching her ears. "Emily, why did you come?" Before she could answer, the room on the other side of the mirror began to change. A shadowy figure emerged, its eyes glowing with malevolent delight. It reached for Emily, pulling her further into the darkness of the mirror's world. Emily realized too late that the mansion had been waiting for her, just as it had waited for Alex. The locket she clutched began to glow, the only source of light in the growing darkness. But the figure snarled, its clawed hand reaching out to extinguish it. As the light faded, the last thing Emily saw was her own reflection, her eyes wide with the same terror that had trapped Alex. The mansion, satisfied with its new prisoners, went quiet once more. And in the town, no one spoke of the siblings again. The mansion was boarded up, forgotten, a place of nightmares and lost souls.